My most frequently asked question is, what cars do I own? And right now, that number is 16, and I'm going to share those with you, plus the cars I used to own in the past. Let's start with my 996. I have a full video on why I bought it, but let's just say it's a combination of speed and practicality. I like the rear seats. I actually fit 225 square feet of tile in the 911. I love convertibles. I like the fact that it's all-wheel drive, it's 6-speed manual, and I just think the 911 is one of the greatest sports cars because of its speed, its handling, and most of all, its reliability. It's a car you can own and enjoy every day. In terms of my air-cooled Porsche 911, it's a 1982 SC Targa, and man, what a great sports car. Nothing is like driving an air-cooled 911 with the sound of that engine behind you and the go-kart like steering. You can tell that you're running over a coin, yes, but you can also tell whether it's a nickel, dime, or quarter. That's how good the feedback from the steering wheel is in these air-cooled 911s. That's why they're celebrated, and that's why they're going up in value. And I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to purchase one many, many years ago, and that's, again, another reason why I bought a more modern 911, because I just love them. And once I drove a water-cooled 911, you know, hey, I'm a purist, but it's very, very good. And you can drive the water-cooled version every day, and that's why I bought one of those. But this classic 911 SC is just an incredible car, style-wise, driving-wise. It's incredibly unique, and although I'd love to have like a Ferrari 308 from the same era, the 911 is just such a better car to own mechanically and just in terms of reliability. It feels solid, and it's incredibly fun to drive and unique. It came with white gauges, so I just had to put white leather seats with blue piping in it too, because I love that look. True 80s. Probably inspired by the 80s Gambella modified Porsches, but I like the look. Probably not the most practical decision though. The Mazda RX7 convertible with an LT1 Corvette Camaro engine was really a birthday present to me. I was traveling and came across this car, and I just couldn't resist it. I've always wanted a Mazda RX-7 convertible, but they're really slow, and with the LT1 engine, it's not really slow. Problem solved, and it's definitely a one-of-a-kind, really cool convertible sports car that's super fast and super wild to drive. So the 1987 Citroen C X surf wagon that happens to be pink, it's kind of like a Barbie dream hearse. It's such a cool car, and it's a magic carpet ride in terms of the hydro-pneumatic suspension, and it's incredibly unique. If you bring it to a car show, it gets more attention than pretty much anything else there because it's so outrageous. Anyway, I found it down in Clearwater, Florida, and I just had to have it. And they're tough to maintain because it's tough to find someone who knows how to work on them, but they're just so unique and such an interesting car. I just had to have this one that's even unique among the unique Citroen CXs in the US. My 2001 Audi TT Roadster, it's the 6-speed with the 225 horsepower. That's a great reason to buy it right there. But the fact that it's painted Laguna Seca blue, which is a 2003 M3 color, and the fact that it has the baseball glove leather stitching, and the fact that it's all-wheel drive and it'll just spin in place. Check out my video of me driving it in the snow. It's just an amazing all-around sports car, and man, is it fun to drive and great to throw the top down, and also great to have that all-wheel drive in the bad weather too. Not great for maintenance. If you're going to buy an old Audi, you need to have some money left over for maintenance. Trust me. But still, a wonderful car. Well, my 1970 Lotus Europa S2, it's a low mileage car, 23,000 miles, and it's really just the shape of it, the look of it, the fact that it's so incredibly small and so exotic and so rare. I had the Matchbox car when I was a kid, and I've wanted one ever since, and I finally got one. Just a really, really cool British sports car that you just see and you go, wow. Also has incredible steering and incredible handling. It's not too fast, but it feels very fast. And again, just so unique and cool. So I came across the Lotus Esprit, and someone was selling it. They needed to sell it, and I was more than happy to buy it because it is truly an exotic car. And what's cool to me is, yes, it's a mid-engine exotic. It's got a four-cylinder engine, so it's kind of simplistic, just a turbocharger. It's quite quick. It was just as fast as a Ferrari Testarossa in terms of acceleration, and also the Lamborghinis of the day back then, but yet it's British, and I think as exotics go, fairly reliable and certainly fun to drive and just as exotic. In fact, a lot of people think it is a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but nope, it's a Lotus Esprit, and I think it's pretty awesome. I found my 1966 Austin Healey Sprite in California, and it's such a unique car with the blue and white racing stripes in the roll bar and the blue and white seats. It was kind of modeled after a Shelby Cobra, and of course it's nowhere near as fast. It's got a 1098 engine, but it's super low to the ground, super small, and definitely a unique driving experience that shows you how sports cars became so popular in the United States. My dad also had one. That's a reason I got it. But such a cool car. Windshield wipers don't even work, and it doesn't have a top. Well, now it does. More on that in a second. But I bought it with no top, and it's just a California car. Who needs a top when you're driving around California? But anyway, I'm not driving around in California. I'm driving around on the East Coast. So I needed a top, and I found this 1967 MG Midget that was really cool. It has a 1275 high compression engine and came with a spare engine and transmission, which maybe one day I'll put into my Sprite. But the hardtop was definitely a reason I got it, and I even gave it a rattle can paint job close to the original color, as close as I could get it, and it's actually a really great car to drive. The wood steering wheel and that 1275 high compression engine, it's actually quick and it stops very well, unlike the Austin Healey Sprite. But still, both great cars, and many of the parts are interchangeable as well. They're truly unique British convertibles and really fun to drive and own too. My Dodge Shelby Dakota convertible pickup truck was also a California find, and what a great truck. It started life as one of 1,500 Shelbys, and it was actually totaled, sort of, but the engine and transmission were fine, so it was combined with a Dakota Sport, which was a convertible, to make the truck that I have. And man, people just see that truck and they go crazy because it's convertible, and then the fact that it's one of 1,500 Shelbys really makes it a standout. And I actually use it. It's a truck, and I use it like a truck should be used. I probably shouldn't because of its rarity, but I believe that cars were meant to be driven, and so I do. My 1972 Opel Ascona, really 1900, that's what it's called in America. I got it because it just looks so cool. It looks like a rally Ascona, which had some rally success back in the 70s, and really it was just the look of the car and owning kind of a 70s sports sedan. I just wanted to know what it was like to own one of those, and now I know it's a pretty cool car. It's a little bit quirky, but definitely the look of it is, to me, just incredibly awesome. So that's why I bought that one. Speaking of classic sedans, the 1978 BMW 320i has a modified engine and dual Spanish Weber carburetors with a 5-speed manual. I think the look of the car with the wheels and just the way it really ran really made me want it. Of course, I'd rather have a 3.0 CS, but this is definitely a driver's car and really made the sports sedan and BMW popular in America, along with the earlier 2002s, which are also very cool, but more expensive than the 320i right now. My 2000 BMW 740iA, I've always wanted a 7 Series BMW from that era, the E38, and well, I got this one. It was Denon Stage 3, I was told, with 400 horsepower. I'm not sure. I have verified it's been worked on at Denon, and it has the airflow filter, so I know it's at least Stage 2. But it's just such a custom-looking car with the Remus exhaust and the raised alloy wheels. Totally custom, totally cool, fast, and super comfortable, too. Just an incredible car. I took it on a long road trip, and it was so comfortable. It's getting to be sort of a classic car, I guess you'd call it, and it was extremely expensive back in 2000. And it was the first car to have an infotainment screen, so that's pretty cool too. But the look and the drive, it's just a fast sedan that's super comfortable to drive, but yet handles incredibly well, and it's super quick, as I said. I can't forget about my Toyota Prius, and yes, I love sports cars. You can see the cars I own, but the Toyota Prius, I'm sorry, it is one of the greatest cars ever built. In fact, I have a video on, is the Prius the greatest car in the world? And I think it is, because it gets 40 miles a gallon, and you can haul anything you like in it when you put the back seats down, and still get 40 plus miles per gallon. Okay, it's not super fun to drive, but as you can see, I have other cars for that. I think everyone should have a Prius or a car like it. One of my most recent acquisitions is my Jaguar X-Type Estate. That's right, it's a wagon, and British racing green with tan leather and a wood steering wheel and a wood shifter, and it's a wagon, super rare, I think undervalued at this time. It's all-wheel drive, and okay, it might have a lot of parts from Ford as well, but you don't know it when you're driving it. It feels like a Jag, it looks like a Jag, and it's, as an estate, I think super, super special. Love it. I currently have a 1974 Mercedes SL, but I've owned three of them. The first one was a 1975 450 SL, and the second one was a 380 SL from 1984. And they're all great cars, but I bought this new one because of the color. I love the aqua blue top and the aqua blue hubcaps on this one, plus the blue interior. I think the SL is just a great all-around classic car to own. It's comfortable, it's sporty, and it's incredibly stylish and timeless. Well, in terms of cars I used to own, my first car was a 1970 Chevelle Malibu convertible with a 307. It was not fast, but man, I love that car. I owned it for a really long time, and I was sad to sell it, but you know, sometimes in life you have to move on, and I did. It was just a wonderful car. I love American classic cars. I love foreign cars. I just love cars if they're special and unique. And certainly the 1970 Chevelle with the dual headlights up front, I think the 70 is the best year, and had some great times and great memories in that car. You definitely want to own a big convertible when you're in high school. It's a lot of fun, trust me. I actually had another Lancia Zagato. It was red, and that one, the catalytic converter seized up and it caught on fire. So that's pretty bad. But that's when I then got the white one from a friend of mine's dad. I'd always wanted a Lancia Zagato ever since the first time I saw one. It's the target top, it's the convertible, it's the fact that it's Italian and rare and unique. I just love all those elements. The sound of that engine shifting from second to third gear, certainly an incredible experience, and I really loved owning that car, and I might have an opportunity to buy it back again, which I probably will if I can for the right price. I also had a 1978 Lancia Beta Coupe. It was blue and it had Lancia script on the side. It was a total rust bucket, so that was not a good car to own. The Fiat Spider is a great all-around sports car and a great Italian car too, with classic lines, and this particular car with those Maserati biturbo wheels, the roll bar, the tan top with the red, it just, I fell in love with it. I love the bumperless look, and I bought it from a guy who really knows these cars and just set it up wonderfully with a Weber carb, and it was just so fun to drive. Sounds great. This particular Fiat Spider was so unique, and again, the way it ran, I just had to have it. I've had three Infinitis, starting with the G20, and then I moved on to the M30 convertible, which was a really special and unique car. They didn't build a lot of them. They were only made in 1991 and 1992, and it was like a one-touch convertible where you just pressed a button and the top unscrewed and it put itself down and then it put itself back up too. So the Infiniti M30 convertible, unique car, and it was actually pretty quick, but it was heavy too. Moving on to the Infiniti G35 in Caribbean blue. Love that car. The G35 is probably one of the best ways to get a fast sports sedan where parts are pretty cheap and it's extremely reliable too. What a great car, the G35 sedan. Also the coupe too, but I had the sedan, and a good friend of mine, she actually drives it to this day. Great car. I had a 1984 Porsche 928, And although it was pretty cool and I think really cool looking, they definitely have some issues with the electronics and just kind of quirks that make them, I think, kind of difficult to own. You're always chasing something in those, it seems. But it is definitely a cool car, and depending on what year, mine wasn't particularly fast, but the later ones are fast with that just normally aspirated 8-cylinder engine from Porsche. Definitely a cool idea, and certainly an interesting car to own, but problematic too, I think. Moving on to my 1987 Porsche 944. It's certainly a unique car, I think. Not very fast, but the handling is what they're all about. It's front engine, rear wheel drive, and about a 50-50 weight distribution. That's what makes it so great. And I love the blue color, the Porsche script door handles, they were cool. If you get a good sorted one, I think they're great, and they're also headed up in value, I believe, too, just like the 928, and certainly the 911s, too. My 1964 Corvair Convertible, wow, I love that car. Beautiful blue with white interior, and I just think it was a stunning car. My dad had one of those back in the day. That's probably another reason I bought it, but really unique driving a 60s, mid-60s kind of Mad Men car where the cigarette lighter is the most prominent thing. Just a blast from the past. It's incredible to drive a car that steers that way. Reminded me of my mom's 1966 Dodge Dart convertible. Absolutely love that car. And my dad had a 1970 turquoise Cadillac Coupe de Ville, which I took my driver's test in. But cars of the 60s, certainly, man, a unique driving experience, certainly. And I think everyone should drive a car like that. It shows you how far we've come in terms of reliability and just how cars felt so mechanical back then. And now they're just totally computer driven. So they just feel so solid, but in many ways it makes them all feel the same, because really computers are driving you. You're not driving the car anymore, it's driving you. So my 1990 Mazda Miata, I kind of wanted an automatic Miata because I've driven so many stick shift Miatas and I've reviewed just about all the Miatas, but the Miata's stick is one of the best in the business, don't get me wrong, but I just thought it was unique to own a automatic Miata, and so I bought it, owned it for a while, and then I sold it off. Just a simple, fun convertible, easy to get parts for. Probably one of the most simple sports cars to own. If you want a good, cheap sports car, go get yourself a Miata. So there you go. There's my complete list of 16 cars that I currently own and 14 cars that I used to own. So now you know what Drivin' Ivan drives. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and of course subscribe to me here on YouTube. Check out all of my other videos, car videos, disc golf videos, and music videos. Literal video for Chris Isaac's Wicked Game. That's a funny one. And again, thanks for watching. I'm Drivin' Ivan.